Welcome to Astronomy with Josh. Tonight we're talking about September skies and what you can see in them. Andy had a question about upgrading his binoculars, and I got a new package in the mail from Protostar to upgrade a Newtonian reflector. Keep it locked. So what's happening, everybody, and where am I? Well, this is one of my excuses for not doing a video lately. I'm renovating this room. This is going to be my study, my library with astronomical volumes, and I accidentally painted the walls purple. Dignified, calling it Professor Plum purple. Professor Plum in the library mixed up the paint. Anyways, all right, so some more detail. We're going over to skymaps.com and downloading the September 2020, see what we can see. Okay, so right above us, we have the summer triangle. This is really easy to find. 3 really bright stars in the sky. We got Vega, Deneb, and Altair right there, and their respective constellations. You'll see Cygnus the Swan. Let's zoom in on this a little bit so you can see what's going on. Cygnus the Swan right here is flying down this blue river looking thing on the chart. If your skies are dark enough, you'll actually see this is the Milky Way, and it's just gorgeous. Even if you can't see it with your eye, put some binoculars on it and see what you find. Now, highly recommended to get out to dark skies so you can see this in all its glory. It's our home galaxy, just awesome. And Cygnus the Swan right here is flying down the Milky Way. Now you want to cruise through this with your binoculars, and even just looking at it, you'll be able to see little knots of brightness, and these are star clusters and nebulae. If you point your binoculars or your telescope at it, you'll see much more detail, but it's just cool to look at with your eye as well. You'll see Jupiter and Saturn right here, Mars rising over here in the east. Now, we're going to get into some telescope views in this in a second, but it's also nice to enjoy the summer and early fall constellations. The Great Square of Pegasus is rising in the east. We have the Andromeda Galaxy coming up, M15. It's a great globular cluster there. Capricornus, the Sea Goat, looms low in the south, and lots of cool stuff going on. So definitely get out there and check it out. Now, if we zoom in on this area, there's 3 things you absolutely got to see. And you can use binoculars for this, and a telescope is probably the best way to look at it. Binoculars, not going to want to miss this region of the Milky Way here. Just spectacular. And sometimes the best way to experience it is with low power right there. Let's zoom in on the constellation of Lyra. We're going to check out a planetary nebula, a globular cluster, and a beautiful double star. So if we go over here, we'll see Vega, really bright blue star, almost directly overhead. And it's this, the constellation Lyra, Lyre looks like this little harp in the sky, this little parallelogram. There's a lot of cool things to see here. Well, Beta Lyra is this neat variable star. I'm just learning about that. We'll do a video about that later. But what you're going to want to do first is you're going to aim your telescope so it's right between these 2 stars. The last one's on the parallelogram there. Then looking through a finder scope, you can see that there's a dimmer star off to the edge of the left one here. Exactly halfway between this dimmer star and Beta Lyrae right there. Beta, I'm sorry, it's not a fish. Aim your finder scope crosshairs right there. If you look through the telescope, use medium to high power, and you'll see what looks like a space Cheerio. And that is a star that's shedding its outer layers of gas, forming a space ring or a planetary nebula. One of the coolest ones in the sky. M57, Messier 57, gotta see it. This is the nose of Cygnus the Swan. If we go back to our chart here, we can see the Northern Cross right here. So Deneb, the alpha star of the constellation, and he's going through, and Alberio is his nose right there. Here he is over here. This is one of the most beautiful double stars in the heavens. And if you zoom in on that and really see what's going on, you're going to see a beautiful blue and red star, or orange star, together, and a wonderful star field, just spectacular. And then about a third of the way from Alberio to the corner star of Lyra right here, you're going to have a nice globular cluster, M56. Now, it's not as spectacular as, say, M13 or M22, but it's really a nice little view, and with telescopes probably 4 inches and up, you're going to start to be able to resolve it into individual stars. Great stuff. And let me know if you have any questions about finding this stuff, of course. All the charts are available online for free, or you can use a star chart. Again, pretty easy to find. Alberio, naked eye, you can just aim at it. The Ring Nebula, again, you're going to go halfway in between these 2 stars, and then zoom in a little bit, and it's halfway in between that star and Beta. And there it is. And then M56 is going to be a third of the way from Alberio to Lyra right there. Let me know if you have any questions for that. So Andy left a comment on my binocular video, and he was wondering about upgrading his 10 by 50 binoculars. For those of you just tuning in, binoculars are usually measured in the objective lens size and their power. So these are 15 power by 70 millimeter objective lenses on the ends, so 15 by 70s. 10 by 50 is an awesome size for astronomy, Andy, because the problem with these, well, these are really cool. You often need a binocular mount, some sort of a tripod or a more expensive parallelogram mount. I also want to make one of those zero gravity chairs. Let's go like this. We'll do a video on that later. These are really cool, but they're kind of shaky to use. So something that I'm really intrigued with is the Vixen, and there's a Orion and another brand too that makes them. They're really low power, really wide angle binoculars. Vixen is a 2.1 by 42. So it's a 2 power with a 42 millimeter lens on the front. You can see 25 degrees of the sky. Full moon is about half a degree across. So it's this tremendously wide field of view. You can really see a lot of the constellations that you couldn't with your unaided eye. So if you're interested in the bigger ones, this is a Celestron Skymaster Pro. They're great for bird watching too. Apparently the Pros are a lot more well liked than the normal Skymasters. So might be worth an upgrade there. Another way you can upgrade is you can just get fancier ones. Nice glass can run you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars if you want to. 10 by 50 is a great platform. A couple other things you could try. You could try getting some vintage binoculars. There's a whole cult following for those, and you can get them for pretty cheap on eBay, around between 30 and 50 bucks. And if you look carefully, even cheaper. A couple different configurations. 7 by 35s are popular, 7 by 50s. I think a neat thing with binoculars is you can have a nice little collection without putting out too much money. Variety might be the thing you're going for, not necessarily bigger, but these are pretty cool too. Hope that answered your question, and let me know if you have any other ones. I got this from Protostar and this from eBay. This is flocking material. No, you don't create sheep with it. You line the interior of a telescope tube so it's totally not reflective, and then you cool the mirror. And well, let's check out the patient. This thing is super cool. It's an 8-inch f8 reflector. Usually they're f6, so about this tall. Old Criterion reflector, Dynoscope, I believe. It used to be on an equatorial mount, but it's been converted to a Dobsonian base by my good buddy Jim, and John Dobson himself has signed it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a cooling fan on the bottom, and we're going to line the interior with some really anti-reflective stuff to optimize view of the planets. Haven't done it yet, but we'll make a video. We'll keep you posted about that. All right, folks. So the bottom line is get out there and observe. Stop painting the walls purple and go look at some stars, okay?